What's up everybody, Spabrog here, and today we are going to go over my Hyperscape hack tier list. Okay, so just a quick disclaimer, tier lists are all opinion based. I come from fighting games. It can get really ugly when people talk about tier lists, but not me. If you disagree with what I have to say or what I rank, let me know in the comments below. But I have a lot of playtime in the game and I play pretty much everything. And I could pretty much play every hack well as every hack combination almost. There might be some things I haven't really got to use yet, but for the most part, I think I'm good. So I feel like I'll have a lot of insight that you probably won't see if you play the game enough, or maybe you just pick the strong hacks, you're just trying to win. I like finding different ways to win, so I hope you guys enjoy this. It should be fun. So we're gonna keep it simple, all right? So we have our tier list right here. We have S, A, B, C, D. So rank from top to bottom. S is the highest, D is the lowest, okay? What you're gonna notice is that the S tier hacks, no matter what, you could pair those with something else and your loadout will be strong anyway, okay? So let's get into it. The first hack that I think is number one in the game, but we'll just put it S tier, okay? Boom. You guys know it, you guys love it. Invulnerable armor. I hate chasing armor players, but it's very good, man. You can't deny it. It's a necessity in this game too. You get beamed without it a lot of the times. I feel like at the highest level, armor is going to be the most dominant one because you don't take damage and you actually get your turn back. So let's say I'm in a fight, I light him up, he hits me once, boom, I activate it. I could confirm how much damage I did. Then I'm like, okay, do I stick in the fight? Do I run away? So it buys you some time, and it could be very powerful, like offensively as well. So even though it's a defensive hack, it is probably the best hack to have in general, because there's so much utility and you get so much reward off of it. All right, so that is number one. Invulnerable will always be your tried and true. If you're a new player, I suggest you just try the S tier hacks by themselves, and just to get used to the game. There's one in here that probably you shouldn't use, but that's totally fine. All right, so the next one, teleport. That's S tier 2, baby. Especially when you get maxed out, you could really run away from everything. If you really have a lot of game sense too, like the more you play, the more game sense you have, the more valuable teleport becomes. Like you'll know if somebody wastes a hack, you'll be like, okay, they don't have that, they can't chase me with teleport, so I'm clear for a couple seconds. Like you could really get your health back, and especially if you pair it with invulnerable. So that's another thing you'll see. That's a very strong combination, and I like putting these together. Not me personally, I don't use invulnerable, but if you put these together, you could literally win almost every scenario in the game. So definitely these two are your go-tos. My third and last S tier hack is Shockwave. I know you guys are probably like, what? Shockwave? Nobody really uses that. Huh. Time out. I use it. I'm number one Shockwave user in the world. Not to freaking toot my own horn, but I've played enough of it to know that it's broken, okay? Shockwave is the most versatile hack in the game. You could get away from things. You could create distance. You could create scrambles. You could do damage. You could chase them down. It's so good. You could get away. Like, it's crazy. You could go all the way into the stratosphere. And it's a very cool hack. Might get nerfed in the future though. I think a cooldown nerf eventually would be good. But I use this all the time, man. There's so many creative ways you could do it. Like when I'm maxed out with a pump and maxed out with Shockwave, I could do like boom boom. I could mammoth, hit you all my pellets for 90, and then Shockwave right away, and that's 120. I could literally delete you. So I think that's strong. It might get a damage nerf. I would say make it 15 at base, 25 at max. add extra 2 seconds of cooldown, and be done with it. I think people are scared of the skyboxing, aka the boost jump, where you just go all the way into the sky. But if you bait it, it's hard to it's easy to shoot the person coming down. But the problem is, like, if they have other hacks paired with it, that could make it annoying. The cooldown is the biggest problem in my opinion. So, you know, they'll get to that eventually. Next. All right, that's it for S tier. So what's A tier? Okay. Boom. Invis. So Invis is good, and it's very good. You pair that with armor, I think that's like the S tier combo, if that makes sense. Armor Invis is definitely like crazy. But Invis itself, it's good because, like, I think it's better offensively in my opinion, because you can sneak up on people and get your first shot, or in the middle of the gunfight. But defensively, the problem with it is that you could take damage, and it's kind of easy to see the Invis as it happens, so you could get a last couple of shots. And say if I have a shotty, I just look at the arrow as the person dissipates, and I get, like, boom, I get burst damage. That's lit, but it's not good for the Invis player. Also, you're still kind of, you know, vulnerable to explodes. Sometimes you could see the outline of the person randomly, like I think it's more of a glitch, but yeah, it's definitely very solid. It just, like, that there's obvious counters to it, but the majority of the time it'll save you more than it'll hurt you, so that's why I put it A tier. All right, so next one, Slam. I love Slam too. Slam is probably like one of the better hacks. It's a combination, you know, you get a little mobility, but, you know, the thing with Slam is that it's a little predictable when you go in the air with it. So if you're facing a good player and they have experience, or if they have a controller and they have pretty decent aim, they're gonna beam you. Even I've had bots kind of like beam me low key, but that's an aim assist thing that they're gonna fix soon, so hopefully that doesn't happen that much. But Slam is a problem in a good way, because you could do damage inside, like inside houses. People think Slam, like, oh, I need to be outside, it's for me to escape. Nah, this thing is to do damage, to create scrambles, reposition, like, in a fight. I slam all the time in fights. Once you learn how to slam slide, like, instantly, it makes fighting indoors a lot more fun too. Like, you just getting, like, random damage, and, you know, undeserved damage, in my opinion. That's how I feel with Shockwave when I'm fighting indoors. But it's in the game, so we're gonna use it, right? But yeah, Slam is definitely A tier. I think the problem with it is that it's easy to shoot down, like I said, and the cooldown isn't too bad, but it's right at that point where, like, you can't abuse it, you know, which is good, because I think Slam could get really cheap. I think the damage is fine-ish. I don't know, man. I think that because people don't really pop their hacks mid-fight a lot of the time, they don't see how cheap it could be. But I think it's good. I think it's A tier, as you can see. Okay, next. You guys ready? Oh, you guys aren't ready. Wall. Alright. You guys will not believe me, but I think Wall is probably one of the most underrated hacks in the game. You could shell up, meaning you could go in the corner and just, like, wall up. People have to commit and take time to break your wall, so that takes a couple seconds, right? But on top of that, it's so easy to, like, get out of fights outside. You wouldn't think so, right? All you have to do is aim down and put the wall down, so it just goes right under you, and walk forward. Then your back is clear, so you could get that, you know, out of the way. You could use the same technique to get into, like, on top of buildings. You could block off people in buildings, make their route, like their escape route, very predictable. And if you're a good player, and you have a lot of game sense, I guess that's the weakness for this hack, though. You need to have a lot of, like, good awareness and good, like, game sense, and you have to be clutch with your shot. But this really, like, it messes up a lot of people. You could really get people off guard. Like even weird stuff. Like I'll run like wall Skybreaker in mid fight. I'll just wall down, take out my Skybreaker, get like 30 damage, and then the tide of the fight is different at that point, depending how much damage I did before. You know, it's interesting stuff. So there's a lot of versatility. It does get beat by like Slam. I think Skybreaker actually beats it too. Shockwave. It has 250 health. But again, you could do some crazy stuff with this hack. It's super versatile. Defense, offense, mobility, very well rounded. So, but obviously not as good as like an Armor or a Telly or a Shockwave. So got to put it A tier. Next. All right. Boom. Ball. Psych. It's A tier. Gotcha. So this is where the controversy comes in. All right. Ball is godlike. All right. So I've been experimenting with Ball lately, and it's good, especially paired with the S tier ones. Again, pair anything with S tier, it's gonna be, you're gonna have a decent loadout at worst, you know. Ball is good against Shoddy, against Armor, Invis, and good against Harpy players up close. People use Ball kind of wrong. They just float in the sky. On PC players, we want that. It's so easy to beam, and I feel like it's the same thing on console. Pretty easy to beam if you have like a Ripper or Riot or something, snipe. But Ball up close, it outlasts Armor and Invis. So if people pop Armor and Invis, which is a problem, not a problem, but it's some common thing that happens mid-fight, so they could get their advantage back. You pop Ball, they're forced to shoot the ball out because the ball lasts for a super long time. So you get your advantage back, and you also bait their armor. And you also, if you're playing like for me, I'd be scared to fight the controller players with a Harpy. It's like I'm fighting like an aimbot. So this makes them waste their clip, and I just have to make one more decision to get out the way to make them miss the clip up. And when that happens, I can win the fight more confidently, and I have more room for error. So that's why I think it's A tier. And because you can use that as a defensive hack, it's like a cheaper invulnerable, and cheaper, I mean like a cheap man's invulnerable. So it's not as good, but it's very underrated. It's underutilized and not used the right way. Also, if you go on the lifts and you jump, like do the boost jump, you go mad high. So that's another like good escape tactic. And it's just a tanky ability at the end of the day. It's just tanky. I wish like when you bump into people, it like flashes them. You know how you get hit by reveal, like something like that, like a stagger. And I'll be running Ball inside. You can do Ball salvo. You know what you do? You can do Ball mid gunfight, bump into somebody, and then ADS. If so, you left trigger or you just ADS whatever, and then you just get your shot back. It's so cool. It's like there's so many things you can do in this game. It's crazy. Alright, so for the next hacks, Magnet, B tier, okay? So, let me tell you something about Magnet. Very underutilized. Potential to go up, in my opinion, to A tier. Very potential. This thing could be used with A-tracks, obviously, and like explodes. That's like the most common use. But with a little bit more game sense, if you have like let's say you have a Telly Magnet, that's a good setup. You do Telly Magnet, right? And you literally just get in the fight. Say I have a Harpy. I'm beaming the kid with the Harpy. He runs away, slams. I just do Magnet in the direction that he's in the sky, and it will pull him. As long as I react like fast enough, then I'll switch to my Riot, get free shots. He might not be dead, but maybe he did. He might be dead depending on the other hack he has. But it definitely it's meant to punish people from running away, and it's meant to punish people who rely on their abilities too quick. So people who rely on their hack, like mid fight they use invulnerable, you can slide at them, right? Or if they're running away, count how many seconds, because I think it's 4 seconds now until the thing goes down, and then you just hit Magnet, or you could react to whatever they do, like slam or like Telly, and do it right away, and you could grab them. And then there's a pause moment, free shotty shot. Remember, that's why I think it's the cheapest though. like the cheapest part of magnet is that it freezes you, and you have a lot of time to hit confirm if you're just calm. So definitely that. Okay. Mine is underrated. Level 4 mine is crack. The problem with mine is it's easily like blown up. You could blow it up, you could shoot it, you could shockwave it, you could put a wall. If the wall hits it, it blows up. You could tank with ball. There's so many counters to mine. But the point of mine is not for it to be countered right away. You're supposed to do it in the middle of the fight, or put it in a position where they can't counter hit, and then you have to challenge right away. So it's a distraction. It's a lot of stimuli. A lot of players can't deal with it. If you guys see me on stream, I run this Shockwave mine, and the mine is crazy. You just put it down, and you're shooting at people, and then people have to make a decision. Do I stay in the fight? That's hard. That's a hard decision to make, especially like endgame. And if you have a lot of game sense, you know where to take your fights. You know how to plant the mine. You know how to, use your other hack to bait them into the mine. You know how to move properly so that the mine stays closer. And sometimes you want people to run away. Like with mine, just make pretend it's not supposed to hit. It's supposed to be pressure, and that's what mine really is. It's just pressure. And the cool thing about it is you could, like, people were camping on roofs, you could put it right above them, like from say you're at the bottom of the not map, sorry, on the ground floor, like bottom of the building, and you see them all the way in the roofs. You put it up top, you hear the click, and then wait for the chase. Then these guys have to be moving, so they're naturally they won't be able to aim like that. So mine is very good. And level 4 mine does 60 damage. That's a half of your health. I run a scummy setup. Max mine, max slam, skybreaker, shoddy. What? You can't get away from me. I'm gonna be on that ass. It's cheap. once you really get the flow going, but it's just easily counterable. Not as strong as the other hacks. Okay, so C tier. Oh no, we're keeping it B tier. What? Reveal has to be the most underrated hack in this game, even though it's ranked one of the lowest right now. It is the most underrated hack in the game. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Reveal at level 4. See, the problem with reveal is that you need to like level it up. Like mine, magnet, they all have their use right away, but the cooldowns are just trash. But that's fine. You know what I'm saying? Reveal though, it has the lowest. It has like a 7-second cooldown. A lot of these hacks have like good cooldowns that are like underused, like wall ball, reveal. These things are crazy. Like reveal, you could tag somebody over and over. People are like, damn, I'm gonna get chased. I'm like, no man, if you have good guns and you reveal and you see them chasing you, can anticipate them. If I have a shoddy and I'm at 50 health and I read your push and I get out of there and I tag you up again with the reveal, I could just keep running that, and I could chase you forever. And it counters Invis. That's the initial thing of, like, for reveal, it counters Invis, and Invis counters reveal. It's just like that. So reveal is very good. I do like a reveal wall combo that's OD. Like you could really like lock people in. Reveal wall Atrax, reveal slam is good, reveal telly armor, shockwave. Like you could do so much, because like once you tag them with the level 4, you could stick them for the rest of the game, literally the rest of the game, especially if I have a mobility hack like one of these. Mostly telly, slam probably better. Shockwave, yeah, but you could get away with shockwave kind of easily if you have the right, if he has like telly or something. But yeah, reveal's crazy, and constantly tagging them over and over, and it's just a lot of pressure. It also like fucks up their screen, so like they can't see. All right, but for the last one we have heal. All right, where do we put heal? You're damn right, heal's probably the worst hack in the game. Just because they nerfed it like to the ground. I thought it was kind of broken before though, but I play shockwave, so it doesn't bother me, because I could just shockwave the person and the heal, so 2 for 1. So heal had like obvious counters, so it can never be that strong, but a good player will plant the heal somewhere else and fight you in a different spot. That's the key to heal. Max heal's probably a little better, but it's just not worth it. It's just one of those things, like, you got to play like very defensively to rock with heal. I think a good heal like setup would be armor heal, tele heal, and like a salvo or Atrax, and a shoddy, something like that, where you have to play indoor. You know, you could put pressure on people, and you could just like reset at any moment. But that's, even then, the level 1 to 3 or whatever is just not good. So level 4 possibly, but I'm gonna put it D tier because it definitely needs a buff. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for the tier list. It was kind of lengthy, but as long as you guys know, that's all I care about. Again, thank you for watching. Follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/spab_rog. Follow the YouTube, sub, comment if you disagree. I'm all ears. This is one of the greatest games out. It's just one of the hardest games out. So it is what it is. But thank you, everybody. Take care.